Hello everyone, it's Phil here with another video. I received a package from Belgium from certashop.com. They asked me to do a review on the DreamFace S1 MIDI interface board and also on the DreamFace S1 Enclosure. The DreamFace S1 MIDI interface board allows you to use the Dream Blaster S1 with a sound card that does not have a wavetable header. For example, the AW64 is a really good example. Note that the Dream Blaster S1 is not included. If you're interested in seeing the review on the Dream Blaster S1, I put a link in the video. In terms of pricing, you're looking at 30 euros, including free postage for the S1 MIDI interface board. The S1 Enclosure also sells for 30 euros, and if you haven't got the S1 Dream Blaster, you're also looking at 30 euros. So they're all costing 30 euros. However, you can get all three items as a bundle for 80 euros. And if you need a power supply as well, you can order that also through the website for 12 euros. Going forward, I will show you how to put the DreamFace S1 MIDI interface together, how to connect it to a joystick port, how to connect it to a USB MIDI interface, and you can do all sorts of things. You can use it in a retro computer, but you can also use it with DOSBox or ScummVM, and even Amiga or Atari ST if you've got a MIDI interface. Any device that has a standard MIDI interface and supports general MIDI will work with this solution. So in this part, I'm just going to show you how you would connect the DreamFace S1 to your sound card. So most sound cards have a joystick interface, which is also a MIDI port. And the kind of cable you need is one of these. It's got a joystick interface on one end and a MIDI in and MIDI out on the other end. So the joystick interface, straightforward, that goes into your sound card. And then you've got a choice, well, which one do I have to use? And the one you don't use is the MIDI in, so we put that away. So what you want is the MIDI out to go into your DreamFace S1, just like that. Another way of using your Dream Blaster S1 with the DreamFace S1 is by connecting it to a modern computer through a USB MIDI interface. I've got one here. The one that I recommend is the Roland UM1, highly compatible, and I'll just going to show you what connectors it's got on the other end. So it has a standard USB connector, so I'm just going to connect that into this notebook. Like that, and on the other end it's got our MIDI in and MIDI out. So just like before, we ignore the MIDI in and we focus on the MIDI out, which is this one here, and the MIDI out goes into our DreamFace S1, just like that. And this allows you to use the Dream Blaster S1 with ScummVM, DOSBox, and there are even like Doom engines, front ends that run Doom on a modern machine, and you can also configure the MIDI interface to use the Dream Blaster S1. Okay everyone, so in this part we're going to have a look at how to hook up the DreamFace S1 Synth MIDI interface board. This is the board. You need to take your Dream Blaster S1 and attach it to the header port here, just like that. We're almost ready to go. On the left hand side we just need our RCA connectors, which goes to the stereo or your line in of your sound card. And then on the right hand side we need the MIDI, and this is the MIDI output from your sound card that goes here. That's usually a joystick cable. And we also need a 9-volt power supply that goes into here. The power supply is also being sold through the website, but I'm using my own. In terms of polarity, just make sure that the center tip is positive. And that's it, that's good to go. Just play some MIDI music through this interface and it'll play the audio through the RCA. So I'm just going to take it apart again, and then we have a look at the DreamFace S1 Enclosure. So that's a separate article for those who want this to be in an enclosure. So I'm just going to put this aside. So that's what the enclosure looks like. And you get 2 of these, one on each side. So I'm just going to put this one on the left side and the other one on the right hand side. So we've got the RCA output here and the MIDI and the power interface on the other side, and then you just put the board inside, and now we're just going to mount security screws. They come in a little bag, and there you go. That's the finished product. So here's your MIDI interface and the power supply, and here are your 2 RCA connectors. So this is 2 products: the DreamFace S1 Synth MIDI interface board and the DreamFace S1 Enclosure. And that's it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. What do I think about the DreamFace S1 interface and the enclosure? Firstly, I'm really impressed by the build quality. It's all hand assembled, and that's something you don't get these days that quite often. The sound quality is fantastic, and it's really useful. If you don't have a wavetable card, and not every sound card has a wavetable board, and I do know that a lot of people use the AW64, but missing the wavetable interface. So now you can just hook it up to the joystick port. It also, in my opinion, improves the sound quality because it doesn't have to go through the mixer of the sound card. You can decouple it, so to speak. And it's really easy to assemble. Pricing is fair. If you haven't got the S1 Dream Blaster, get the bundle. You're getting a slightly better deal. And it's very versatile. You can use it with your retro computer, but also DOSBox, ScummVM, and all sorts of other things. As always, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. Any questions, comments, leave them down below.